So Superman. I loved it. Caesar thought it was the biggest piece of shit he's ever seen.
Which is saying a lot.
I mean,
Yes, you
Steven,
gave it a what was your rating? You gave it a what out of what?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
I gave it a I've actually dropped a little. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
What'd you drop?
I've had time to think about certain characters and I'm like, yeah, no, characters didn't really
You mean how
I
actual
didn't
they're
really
actual like, comic book characters, and not the
no.
twisted, warped version that Snyder did?
I'm gonna say this. You guys for hating Snyder, you guys say his name a lot. A lot.
I just do it to troll you, but I don't really
I know
care.
you do, but there's people who will bring him up in random ass conversations, and
I
people are
know.
like, we never mentioned him. You're the ones who keep bringing him up. He lives in your head rent free. Because like I was watching a video about like some dude saying how Man of Steel is an incredible film for its time, and then someone's like, oh well, you're just a Snyder writer. You're just there to
Okay, well
glaze
that
and
okay, well that's a little
yeah. I'm like
rent free
no
in your
one.
head.
That's like no one mentioned Snyder.
Right, you're just bitter that Zack Snyder got fired.
No, first of all, I'm talking about a video that someone literally brought up Snyder and saying how people were glazing him, and no one ever mentioned Zack Snyder. They were only mentioning Man of Steel, the character Superman. No one ever mentioned Snyder, and this guy's just randomly just
Yeah.
say, "Oh, well, you're writing Snyder's dick." I'm like, dude, no one's mentioned him. You're the ones who keep bringing him up. He lives in your head rent free.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's the last one to make a Superman movie. He was the last person in charge of DC, so that's like what they're comparing it to. To be fair, I mean, I think there are people that are, um, it's tribalism. They just want their team to win. I mean,
Like,
I liked Snyder, and I liked the idea, the 5 part DC story. Yet I loved it. I would have loved to see it come to pass. It ain't happening. So I think James Gunn has a different approach, and I like it. So you know what I mean? Like I just do it to kind of troll people and troll you. I could care less who's in charge as long as the story's good. That's my thing.
well, that's your thing, but like, I just didn't. One of my biggest disappointments was Lex Luthor. I just did not find Lex Luthor to be a real threat to Superman. I found him to be whiny, just the most whiny character ever.
You didn't like Crypto?
I love Crypto. Crypto was a good part, or the best part of the entire movie, but Lex Luthor was just I don't know, dude. Just having Lex Luthor be this whiny character was not the best writing for Luthor.
You know what's actually funny? I felt very similar to Jesse Eisenberg to Lex Luthor. I didn't. I liked Henry Cavill. I liked Ben Affleck's Batman. I liked him. I did not like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I thought it was a terrible choice casting.
Honestly, I liked his interpretation. It was
It was
one of the, I
it was pure and utter horseshit.
no, it was not. We've seen worse worse interpretations. Let's be honest.
True, Gene Hackman was pretty bad.
Hey, you put some name on his respect on his name. He's gone. Okay, he can't defend himself now.
Okay, you want to know? Ironically, and I've said this before. Who and James has said this before. Who the honestly one of the best Lex Luthor is? Kevin Spacey, and there's a reason because he was probably a really big bad person in real life, and we just
Oh,
didn't know.
for sure,
He
for
was,
sure, for sure, for sure,
so
for sure.
unironically, he was a good Lex Luthor in my opinion, and that's because he was probably a big piece of shit in real life.
Yeah, no, yeah. He was the things he did was pretty messed up.
Dude, he's all about releasing the Epstein. He said release the Epstein files.
Which is saying a lot coming from him. You're like, dude, what the fuck just? You're like, what just happened, man? We got this guy who's a monster asking for you to release the Epstein files, and then Trump over there just like, no, they never existed. Mm-mm,
Okay,
they
yeah,
never existed.
but
That's moving forward. Yeah, I didn't like Superman. I found it to be a lackluster movie.
tell specifically, like specific details, what you didn't like, because this is our
Okay,
review of Superman. Specifically, what you don't like,
specifically,
what you don't like.
I like Superman's interaction with Krypto. I feel like that's an actual interaction most people have with their actual dogs, especially like just dogs doing dog things. I found that aspect really enjoying. The, the flying scenes weren't the most unconvincing flying scenes I have ever seen.
What does that mean?
I just I thought the CG for the flying scenes weren't the best,
Okay.
and that's same. And we've all seen Superman on Supergirl on his shows, Lois and Clark, or was it Lois and Clark or Superman and Lois? I don't remember.
Well, Superman and Lois was the one with Tyler.
Heckman, yeah, and that had better flight CGI than Superman did.
Dude, he's such an underrated Superman. Like
Oh, for sure.
he was bad in like Supergirl in my opinion, but like in the Superman and Lois show, he's super underrated.
I feel
Like if
like
you've ever watched the show, it's
yeah,
really good.
I've seen clips of it. Yeah, he looks underrated. He's an underrated Superman. Let's be honest.
Okay,
I
but
feel
dude,
like
worst flying. I mean, granted it was a TV show. Worst flying and any Superman was, I mean, for like what you consider like more modern day is Smallville. Because you could say like the Christopher Reeve and stuff, but that was like in the 70s and 80s. So
that's
it's
true.
like
That was
it's
advanced for its tech. The
yeah.
technology was advanced for its
Like
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like dude,
So
Smallville was
yeah,
so
no,
bad,
yeah.
so bad.
Smallville had some terrible CG. Let's not lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was more like a what's that manga called? Um, I forgot, Betty and Veronica or something like that. It was kind of like one of those teen like shows. I forgot what it was
Oh
called.
yeah.
You
I
know
know
what
what
I'm
you
talking
mean. Yeah.
about?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just, I mean, Smallville was a product of its time. Let's be honest. It wouldn't hold up today
It
if it was
lasted
being made
10
today.
seasons, so you can watch the entire thing on Hulu. I actually now best Lex Luthor in my opinion was Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Well, in my opinion, the best Lex Luthor was the animated series Lex Luthor.
Okay, but we're talking about
Now
live
that,
action. We're not talking about animated.
oh,
If we're talking about you can make anything good in animation, it's
that's true.
animation. Like look at the
That's
Clone
true.
Wars. Like anything Disney makes, not getting into Star Wars too much, but like the Disney animation stuff is generally pretty good. The Clone Wars style stuff because it's animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
You know, so I mean, but yeah, I actually really liked his Lex Luthor. It was good.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen the show?
I've seen the show.
How much have you seen?
A pretty big chunk. I've seen enough to know that Aquaman was in the show.
That Aquaman.
I know there was enough. I've seen enough to know that they had Bart Allen
Yes, that was funny.
on the show instead of Barry Allen.
That was probably a
Legal
licensing.
reasons, probably out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably legal reasons.
Yeah. No. Also, fun fact.
They didn't actually name any of the characters like Arrow or anything. They didn't actually name them probably for legal reasons, like you said.
I mean, there was Oliver Queen in the show. But like, yeah,
Yeah, but that could be a random guy's name. You know what I mean? If you really put it on that.
yeah. The fact that he formed his own Justice League.
Dude, I saw a short. It was funny. It was basically like this guy was like, we can't pick Batman for licensing reasons, but we need to have a Batman like character for the CW.
Oh yes, I know what video you're talking about. Yes, I've seen it. It's a
And it's
TikTok.
like,
Yeah.
let's do Arrow. He's basically the same character.
Yes, but no at the same time. But yeah, I know where they were trying to go because for reasons, Batman's more expensive to make a show of, and we've seen Gotham
Yeah,
try to.
in the I've seen the entire CW Arrowverse. Like he's mentioned, but this takes place like after Batman's time, the Arrowverse, because there's a
Yeah,
scene where like if you start watching Batgirl or Batwoman, is it Batwoman or
Batwoman.
Batwoman? Like they say like Bruce Wayne and Batman have disappeared for like a long time, so it's like
Yeah,
he's existed, but been gone so long he's like a myth now.
yeah. Like remember, I forgot what it was in the later seasons of Arrow. He basically throws shade at Bruce. He's like, "Oh, what am I? Did Bruce Wayne leave Gotham?" And everybody's like, "Oh, dude, we're not. Nah, you didn't just throw shade at Bruce." But yeah, I overall did not really enjoy Superman. For other people, it's really enjoyable. I just didn't like Superman.
What about the scene with the squirrels, the superpower squirrel?
That was funny. It was messed up, but at the same time funny because like let's be honest, dogs have chased squirrels, birds, everything, and it's funny because like Crypto would not know the difference if he was in VR. He's just doing his dog thing.
All right. What about okay? What did you think of David Kore's one Superman?
I plead the fifth.
No, seriously.
I thought he was a decent Superman.
Can you elaborate more, dude?
Um, he brought a different interpretation of both Superman in the way that he embodied the emotions of Superman. Like he was a little more emotional in certain scenes, which was different from every other iteration we've seen of Superman. But I feel like those scenes were like just not the best written. There could have been more emotion and heart in those scenes, but they just kind of played them off a little bit as jokes.
All right.
Like, oh, you're too emotional.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, go ahead.
and I feel like that making that kind of a joke was not the best.
What did you thought of Guy Gardner?
Complete douchebag.
Isn't that what he is?
He is, but he's more than just a douchebag. He's arrogant. He thinks he's better than the other Green Lanterns.
He does. I mean, he thought he was better than everyone else in the Justice Gang. But remember, they don't call themselves that.
Yeah, because the league hasn't existed yet. Air quotes.
My one of my favorite lines in the movie was after they save the country, and then like
Yeah,
who is it? I always forgot his name. The Element Man,
Metamorpho.
Metamorpho comes in and
Metamorpho.
he's like, you should join our gang, and he's like, we're the Justice Gang. We're not called that Justice Gang, huh? I like that name. You're in.
He's like, okay, you can join. But yeah. Who else? Oh, my biggest complaint of the entire movie that pissed me off: his parents, Jor-El and Laura Zor-El. What the?
You didn't
What
like
was
Bradley
no,
Cooper as
dude?
you didn't like Bradley Cooper as
No, that's not the problem.
I
The
know, just
fact that
messing.
they changed his that lore from his parents from being compassionate beings who wanted a better future for his son to grow up human before he learned to be Kryptonian. What the shit was that, man? I'm sorry, but like, what the fuck was that?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if that happened in real day, like Superman was a real thing, I just feel like it would be more like that. Like they would because they knew that he would become like essentially Superman. They knew he would become super strong because of the yellow sun and everything.
Yeah, but it
But
doesn't encourage him to.
I feel I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like Krypton is like one of those really autocratic fascist regimes. And like in real life, it was exist. I know in the comics it's different, but I just feel like it would be like if they came to the Earth, it would seem more. You know what I mean? Like they're like a
That's the
utopia.
difference between two different directors. One actually, I'm gonna say this because like I'm already gonna get crap for this. And I'm gonna get called a writer Snyder.
That's okay. We need the clicks, dude.
Zack Snyder understood more Jor-El in Man of Steel and knew that Krypton was a failed society. He showed that in Man of Steel. Like they refused to expand to like colonize other habitable worlds, and they refused to say to move on to see to the future. So he already had plans by having Clark Kal-El be Krypton's first natural birth in centuries, and he knew that. Like he knew his son will be different than what Krypton was already established, and he sent him off to be raised a human, to be raised differently before he learned what he comes from. Which I genuinely love that part of Man of Steel. But like the fact that you decide to alter that just because you wanted Lex Luthor to have more control in his movie is dumb. I'm sorry, but that's one of my biggest critiques of that film. That was the worst thing you could have done to Superman.
Okay. interesting. Well, I don't know. I just feel like that's how it would be in real life, but that's just my opinion.
That's your opinion, but let's be honest. If that happened in Man of Steel, we would not hear the end of it. Let's be honest.
We
We
don't
would
hear
have
the
had
end
people
of Man of
complain.
Steel anyway. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like here's the thing.
But
It
yeah,
does.
but if it was in
Both
Man, if that was established in Man of Steel, people would have already hated that film. They were like, "Oh, they changed Superman. Why did he do
dude.
that?"
Like
But
dude,
they give a pass to James Gunn for that, and
dude.
which is
Superman, dude. Zack Snyder put based his characters off the New 52, correct?
not just no. The New 52 was actually
No, he based the costumes and the characters off the New 52.
no. He stated that that was not actually true. That he didn't even know the New 52 was going to be a thing when he was filming Man of Steel because he filmed Man of Steel before the New 52 actually launched.
I don't know. I read somewhere that he and just he everything was more based off the New 52. But the New 52 is generally disliked by the DC comic community.
Mostly, but there are good stories in the New 52 that should be adapted to the DC films now. Like Court of Owls was an incredible Batman story,
Yeah, they're gonna do that in the
but that
Batman
does
too.
not get used.
I heard they're
Huh?
gonna do something like that in the Batman too.
Hopefully, it's not played off for jokes. Because
Dude,
if they,
okay. To be fair, Matt Reeves and the Batman is not a joke movie. There's no jokes in that movie.
I want to talk about that because like I've been hearing rumors that there might be because the script is done, but like there might be changes to that script that involve Robert Pattinson's Batman being part of the James Gunn universe.
They
I
they
don't know.
they have
I
consistently said James Gunn has consistently said that he is not part of the DCU. I don't know.
yeah, but like things.
I
Let's be
like
honest, things change constantly a lot.
true. I liked Robert Pattinson's Batman. I did. I liked his Batman. I know you didn't, but I know a lot of people that liked him. Everyone still loves Christian Bale's Batman. He's the best, but he has an established like story. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to like Batman movies and stories, I think the best story was the Dark Knight trilogy. I think he is not the best Batman, but I thought that was the best story in my opinion.
No, I agree with you there. Like that's the best trilogy of Batman films I've ever seen. You have a start point, and then you have an end point for Batman, and then you have his like climax film, which is The Dark Knight, his pinnacle of
No,
Batman.
the Dark Knight Rises.
No, The Dark
Batman
Knight Rises is it's Batman Begins, and then The Dark Knight, which is the climax, and then you have The Dark Knight, which is the climactic end to the trilogy. Let's be honest,
You said climactic twice though.
climactic end. I said,
Okay, whatever.
I said, but yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy is one of the best Batman trilogies out there.
Yeah, I don't think he's the best Batman though, despite what people say.
Oh no, like they, I think he was an okay Batman. I thought his Bruce Wayne was really good.
Yeah, but I don't know. He wasn't the best.
But like, let's
I
be
don't.
honest,
Go ahead.
the best Batman we've seen that it depicts Batman in the best way is Ben Affleck's Batman. That one scene in Batman v Superman in the warehouse scene was Batman.
I can't say that because he has such little screen time as Batman. I can't make him one of the bat. I can't say that.
How do you not see the warehouse scene? You've seen the warehouse scene.
Yes, I've seen Batman versus Superman.
That warehouse scene is basically Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
The way he fights.
I didn't think he was the best Batman. You think Henry Cavill Superman is the best. I don't think he's the best Superman either.
No, I think the best Superman is Christopher Reeves and will always be Christopher Reeves.
Okay, never mind. Then you agree with me on that.
Huh? Because no, you can't beat a classic. Yeah, every version is going to be different, but I feel like for Henry Cavill, that was his best Superman for what he was given.
I don't know, dude. It's just, but
we can sit here all day and argue about DC, but at the end of the day,
it's good content.
it does make good content. But at the end of the day, your opinion is your opinion, and my opinion is my opinion, and everybody else's opinion is everybody else's opinion. So
True,
there's no
but
point in changing people's minds.
true. But to your original point of Robert Pattinson's Batman in the DCU,
Yes.
he would need a different costume.
I
I
mean,
thought he
yeah,
was
because
okay,
like
but his costume just. I know it was like an early prototype, you know what I
it
mean?
wasn't
But it just didn't
like
feel. It didn't feel like it had like he didn't have the mobility in that
yeah,
suit, and that kind of
for sure. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I felt like if he had a more Ben Affleck's Batman suit, to be honest, where it's more flexible and everything. I felt
Yeah,
like
and he
I
can move.
felt like
Yeah.
where he did actual more.
More
He did the more
hand to
like he
hand
had like the
combat.
arc. He had like an arc the Arkham City suit kind of thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I felt like
Yeah, I know what you
his.
mean.
I feel like his Batman can really shine, but it's more like
Yeah.
armor right now versus his actual like suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
I
know
know
what you
it's
mean. Yeah.
prototype, but that's the one gripe I had with um, Robert Pattinson's Batman. He felt too slow, which I know is probably the purpose of that because it was the suit and it was a prototype suit. I get that, but I felt
It
like
was
when he
probably
was in
heavier because it was more armored, right?
I
Yeah.
know that's my point. That was my biggest gripe, but I know I get the point of it.
Yeah, it was a prototype suit and it's bulky and I heard you I've told you my dislike for the suit. So we
Yeah,
both agree that the suit was not the best designed.
yeah. I mean, I get the suit, you know, purpose of the
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
but
for
I don't
sure.
know. I just felt like he can't like do the grapple in the same way that he should
Yeah.
be able to. I know he's new Batman. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
it's just I feel like he could be the best Batman. Just something. I think he needs more to be like you can tell he's good at his combat. But he needs a better suit.
Yeah. Moving from DC because we both saw this movie, but we saw it different times. Jurassic
Wait.
World.
No. We're
Oh,
not done with DC.
okay, okay. You want to
I
keep
have
talking
more
about
things
DC?
to do, and plus I need
Oh
to
yeah,
stop
yeah. We need to talk about Peacemaker, right? The
that.
season
And
2
actually,
trailer dropped.
I have something else to bring up first, though. Finally read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic,
Okay, yeah.
and I understand Supergirl in James Gunn's now. Because in the comic, she's like all beaten up, and she goes to planets with red suns to like drink and party and all that other good stuff. I get it more now, but I mean, well, I want to know what you think
Let's
of.
be honest. I have not kept up with DC Comics after my local comic bookstore had issues with their distributor. So I have not kept up with the actual DC Comics. I've seen people discuss the current state of DC Comics with their current runs, but I have not paid attention to any
Woman of
Superman or
Woman of
Supergirl
Tomorrow
comics.
isn't in like a new comic.
No, because there's a current run of Supergirl comics called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
I know, but there's an actual comic for that of
Yeah, but
that.
like the only time I've actually paid attention to Supergirl was probably the New 52 and Rebirth was the last time I actually paid attention to Supergirl. Because like Rebirth did something different with Supergirl and the New 52 did something completely different with Supergirl.
Yeah, it's a comic by it's a comic by Tom King.
Yeah, that's the most current run. Yeah, that's the current run of that was
Oh well, I mean it's 2022. I guess
no, yeah, current it's technically still current run.
it felt older than it actually was, I guess. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
what did you think of her? I mean, we've only seen her for half a second. What did you think of it?
I mean, that's not the Kara I'm used to, but again, this is a different universe. People do things with characters that they feel like would probably benefit them.
I would read the comic because it makes sense with her character. Because she's like
I mean,
distraught
if
about like
she again, he's basing her off of that comic, then yeah, I haven't read comics in a while. I've kept up. I've heard about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, but I have not read that. I should probably read it, but I don't want. Yeah, I'll probably pick it up. I'll probably order
just
it.
use the DC Universe Infinite app or use like.
I refuse to pay. I don't want to pay any more apps, dude. I'm already paying for way too many apps, man. Uh, Like I'm paying for way too many streaming services and
Just
adding
cancel
another one.
just cancel Crunchyroll and get the.
No, I will support my anime.
Listen, if I'm ever president, anime gets banned in the U.S. And I'm gonna call
I
it the
will move to
Cesar
Japan.
Rios law.
I will move to Japan or Canada, or probably back to Mexico where anime is praised.
And I'm gonna negotiate with other countries to ban all anime.
Oh, then you go to war with a lot of weebs, man. You go to war with Japan.
But I'm gonna do it in my
The industry.
second. I'm gonna do it in my second term, so that way I don't have to worry about them.
Okay, we're enough politicals, but yeah, I
Okay.
should probably pick it up. I should probably pick up and read it
Yeah.
before Superman and Girl drops. But I feel like
Supergirl. Oh, so you're
not
actually gonna
make.
see it? I mean, you're
Nah,
gonna listen. Listen.
I'm
If
gonna read the book, but I'm not gonna go see any more DC movies. We
okay,
made an
listen,
agreement, and I was only gonna watch Superman.
listen.
As you were saying, Peacemaker season two's trailer dropped, and they're gonna explore the multiverse in season two.
So does that mean that Peacemaker, this Peacemaker is from the original DCEU, and then he goes into the DCU universe?
Well,
I mean, he
we'll
was
have
the
to.
best. He was the
You'll
best.
have to wait and see what happens with season two because it drops later this year, right?
August
In
21st.
August 21st, it drops. You'll be watching it. I won't because I refuse to pay for HBO Max.
Okay. Don't you
So
mean
you can
HBO?
talk about it.
Don't you mean HBO Max, Max, then HBO Max again? I'm just joking. No, but dude, honestly,
That's a
honestly,
whole. It's a whole just jumble mess of like, oh, we're renaming it this, we're renaming that, we're going name, we're dropping a name, we're going back to this.
so they're so supposedly James Gunn said that season 2 of Peacemaker will tease the big like event in the 10-year DCU plan. It's gonna
I
tease
mean,
the big event.
we've talked about this multiple times. Who are you going to use to bring the Justice League together?
Well, they can't use. They're not going to use Darkseid because he was recently used. Maybe if the 10-year plan succeeds, maybe in the next, you know what I mean, one. That's
I
way down the
mean,
future. But
Darkseid is the end game, bro. There's no one bigger than Darkseid. Like
I think
Thanos was a perfect way to cap off the MCU, but Darkseid, there is no other villain you can use that's that powerful for the DCEU. Like Darkseid
you
is
mean the
the
DC.
end.
Oh, yeah. I think they're gonna. So you've said this, and I actually agree. They're gonna use the Batman contingency plan. When I forgot what it's called, where he
Yeah,
has.
the storyline is called Tower of Babel. Is when Batman's plans get leaked.
Yeah, and then everyone hates him, and then they realize they actually need him.
Yeah, because like he's the only one who's like because they've been through so much. Like they've seen alternate versions of themselves that are evil. They've seen so much, and their Batman's like, yeah, I don't trust any of you. This is why I have these plans to make sure that I can take you guys out.
And isn't like the contingency plan for him the Justice League essentially?
Yeah, you're talking about Justice League Doom. That's a perfectly good animated movie. To if you haven't watched it, watch it. It is an incredible DC film. Yes, the
Okay,
contingency plan is the Justice League. If Batman ever went rogue,
they couldn't beat him, but
man, they could never beat him, dude. Batman's Batman.
he has the biggest
People are
plot
gonna
armor of all time.
obviously, dude. Like they made him. They made him basically a fucking invulnerable fucking being. Like Batman has kryptonite. He can disable
He outruns
Aquaman.
Darkseid's Omega beams.
No, no.
No,
Actually, he
no,
was
that
killed
was
by
a
Darkseid.
no. That was an actual and the animated. He outruns it and then basically
Oh yeah, yeah. He's dodging it, and he's.
and then he makes it kill a
I know what
parademon.
you mean. Yeah, yeah. He like he makes sure a parademon absorbs the first hit, turning the parademon into ash. Yeah, no, I've seen that clip. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, but the only other villain I could think of is Brainiac, which I know is more of a Superman villain, but
Yes, Brainiac
he
is.
also does tangle with the Justice League.
Yes, occasionally when he needs to like be Brainiac, he'll be part of Brainiac. But like Brainiac will always be a Superman villain, mostly because he's heavily tied to Krypton's mythology,
Yeah.
especially by taking the bottled city of Kandor, which is a super Krypton was on Krypton. which also ties into Supergirl in some versions of that story.
I don't know, dude. They're James Gunn said they're leaving heavily into like Superman, Supergirl, obviously Batman and Wonder Woman. But I don't know. I just feel like if I had to choose you out of those two, based on what James Gunn has kind of said, who he's leaning on to lead the DCU and everything, I would say
Yeah,
Brainiac.
I want. I don't see Brainiac being the threat that brings the Justice League together.
You think? Well, it can't be the contingency plans because that's after they're together. So what brings them together? What other villain is there?
I mean, you can do. We were gonna get it, but that was never. That's never gonna happen
Reverse
ever again.
Flash.
No, 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 not the Reverse Flash. The crime, not the Crime Syndicate, but the Injustice League. You can do the Injustice League.
But don't they get formed in response to the Justice League?
Yes.
So there's got to be something that brings them together. You know what I mean?
Like, well, honestly, well, as we saw in Superman, heroes are already established, so you can just have them all meet in prison and be like, "Oh, hey, we have hatred for the heroes, so let's form our own team.
I
Let's form our
guess.
own Injustice gang." And
I guess
boom.
that would be kind of lackluster, and I don't think he'd do that.
But yeah, let's yeah, whoever they end up using, they should it should be a threat to the league.